The deck sways underfoot as you take the last few steps up to the prow and look out at the wide blue ocean before you. The wind is cool and heavy with the scent of salt water as the ship cuts through the choppy waves below. Looking up once again, you idly scan the horizon. You've seen no other ships or land since leaving Montego Harbor 6 days ago, but according to Captain Marin, the ship should be passing near the Sunken Isles today or tomorrow. There's certainly a few people back home who would like to hear about that. You sense someone move up behind you. Turning your head, you see that cabin boy, Brat. Best to ignore him, or he'll start asking you about the academy again, or telling another story about scaring the more sensitive passengers with dead rats stolen from the ship's cat. You double-check the strap on the satchel at your side to be sure he won't try to sneak anything out of it. What's that there in the distance? That looks like land. Perhaps an island. Maybe two.
Speech on. Way to be sure. Speech off.
You squint your untrained eyes into the distance for a moment longer. One seems large, the other just a speck. Surely, these are islands. Just as you open your mouth to call to the captain, the cabin brat shouts, "Land ho!" The cabin boy steps timidly to the side as you turn and watch the tall, smartly dressed Captain Marin approach the prow, elbowing you aside and extending her spyglass in the direction the brat points. Peering through the telescoping glass tube, she murmurs, "Sunken Isles, all right. Making good time." She adjusts her gaze slightly, and suddenly, her face pales and she freezes in place. An instant later, she slams the spyglass shut against her hand and shouts back toward the crew, "Pirates." The captain takes one step toward the stern, then suddenly turns toward the cabin boy and holds out the spyglass. "Sharp eyes you've got there. Give us a shout if you see more." The brat scampers off sternward. Pirates. The Sunken Isles are rumored to be haunted by ancient spirits, but maybe those rumors stemmed from pirate activity. You should prepare for the worst. You turn from the prow and hurry across the deck toward your small berth where your belongings are. Around you, sailors are running to pull rigging and adjust the sails, shouting back and forth in their thick accents. You jump over a coil of rope on the deck and nearly lose your balance as the ship lurches. Recovering, you see one of the other passengers throw open the door ahead, and you slip through before it slams behind you. Inside, your eyes adjust slowly to the lamplight after the bright skies outside. The other passenger, dressed in a green merchant silks, is digging furiously through the chest beneath his bunk. You see your bunk across from it, with your small chest of traveling supplies beneath it. Leaning in the corner is a large two-handed sword. You still remember something of its use from your younger days. Its owner is nowhere to be seen.
Speech on. Inside, take the travel supplies. Speech off.
You yank the small chest out from under the bunk and fumble with the lock. Your hands are shaking and the key won't seem to go into the small hole. You take a few deep breaths to steady yourself, and there's a soft click as you turn the key in the lock. Inside the chest, you look over your travel supplies. You see a small pouch heavy with gold coins, your pewter drinking cup, a small silver knife, a ball of twine, and a thick treatise entitled Alchemical Solutions and Their Applications in Wartime. You mull over the contents of the chest.
Speech on. Take the silver knife. Speech off.
You put the small knife in a pouch in your belt.
Speech on. Take close. 0%. Close the chest. Take the book. Take the twine. Take the pewter cup. Take the pouch of gold. Speech off.
You tie the hefty gold pouch to your belt.
Speech on. Close the chest. You close the chest. Speech off.
You close the chest and sit on your bunk and take a few deep breaths. You're prepared. What comes, will come. The merchant you followed in turns from his bunk and briefly makes eye contact, giving you a worried frown before stepping to the door and slipping out. When the door opens, you can hear the frantic shouts of sailors much more clearly. You realize you are biting your nails, so you lower your hand and take another deep breath.
Speech on. Wait in the cabin. See what's happening outside. Speech off.
You step out onto the deck where sailors still heave on ropes and pulleys. The pirate ship is much closer now, visibly closing from the starboard side, and you can see a black flag bearing a grim white skull flying high above the dark wood of the sleek hull. You see figures on its deck, readying a hooked wooden platform along its port side. You are not a sailor, and there's nothing for you to do but watch the pirate ship approach. It cuts through the water faster than you would have thought possible, and is soon upon you. The pirate ship veers alongside your ship's starboard side, and the battle-scarred marauders push down a large, sharp-hooked wooden platform that bites into your ship's deck. A dozen pirates gleefully swarm across the platform, shouting curses and making short work of sailors who try to resist. You watch, frozen in horror, as the pirates dispatch the few sailors and 2 passengers who resist them. The captain shouts for her crew to surrender, and you are soon corralled by foul-breathed, sneering privateers into a small circle with the other passengers. The pirates brandish sea-rusted cutlasses menacingly, hoping for an excuse to use them. The pirate captain swaggers across the wooden platform in an ostentatious red coat draping to his knees. He orders a plank extended, and motions for Captain Marin to come forward.
Speech on. Vertical scroll bar 0. Remain silent. Speech off.
You watch in silence as Captain Marin approaches the pirate captain. The pirate captain exclaims his admiration for Marin's fine wool captain's hat. He removes his own, smaller hat and takes Marin's from her head and adjusts it over his thinning black hair.
"How do I look? Much better on me, I should think,"
he gloats loudly above the grinning pirates, who whoop their approval. He shouts for all to hear.
"Captain, I believe in a fair trade. I've taken your hat, so you should take mine."
He tosses his old hat into the choppy waters and draws his cutlass.
"I seem to have dropped it. Please, go and fetch it."
The pirates erupt in further laughter as he swings his cutlass back and forth in the air, forcing Marin toward the plank.
Speech on. Vertical 0. Watch silently. Shout in Marin's defense. Speech off.
Without thinking, you shout, "Are you too cowardly to face me first?" The pirate captain turns from Marin and points his cutlass at you angrily.
"Bring that sorry, flea-ridden, scurvy-spreading, loud-barking dog to me."
3 of his crew step up to restrain Marin as 2 pirates grab your arms and drag you to the captain. The pirates throw you to the deck in front of the captain, who throws his head back in laughter.
"You think you can best me? Let's see what you've got."
You rise to your feet, fear welling up in your throat. You haven't fought in ages, but it's too late to back down now.
Speech on. Vertical 0. Bare your teeth defiantly. The pirates bare your teeth defiantly. Speech off.
"Give this one a weapon," the captain shouts, and a nearby buccaneer throws a cutlass point down into the deck a few inches from your foot. You tug the cutlass free and raise it in front of you. The pirate captain sneers and whips the cutlass back and forth in the air. You stride forward and swing your weapon, probing. The captain bats your sword aside, steel clanging on steel, then swings his cutlass up toward you in retaliation. You step back, narrowly avoiding the blow, then bring your sword swinging down toward him. He jumps back out of reach, then growls as he slashes his blade horizontally toward your face. You duck beneath it and take the opportunity to swing with all your might.
Speech on. Vertical 0. Swing your cutlass. Speech off.
Your cutlass lashes out at the captain, but unlike him, this is the first time you've used such a weapon. The captain sneers contemptuously as he twists his own cutlass back around and redirects yours point down into the deck. He hooks his opposite fist around into your jaw and sends you sprawling, swordless.
Speech on. Vertical 0. Rise to your feet. Your cutlass rise to your feet. Speech off.
The pirates let you stand, but keep their hands on your shoulders. The pirate captain steps forward to spit on you before turning back to Marin, who is once again forced to the plank hanging out above the deep ocean. Captain Marin takes a single step onto the plank. The pirate captain shouts,
I almost forgot. A gift to the sharks must be properly prepared.
He swings his cutlass savagely at Marin, cutting her across the back as she tries to jump off the plank and away from the cutlass. He throws his head back in laughter as she splashes into the salty blue water, doomed to the sharks.
Speech on. Vertical 0. Await your fate. Speech off.
The captain turns toward the crowd and singles you out, cutlass pointed at your heart.
This one next,
he cries, and several pirates drag you forward to the plank. The captain steps behind you and pricks your back with the cutlass. You gingerly take your first step onto the plank. Looking out into the wide ocean, you can see the island you spotted earlier. It's now close enough to obviously be an island, but you doubt you could ever swim such a distance. You feel sharp steel prick your back again, harder this time, and you take another step onto the plank, which begins to bend beneath your weight. You look down at the choppy waves beneath, and back over your shoulder, where the captain flashes his blackened teeth in a mirthless grin. The captain raises his cutlass to swing at your back, and you take another step forward, nearly losing your balance as the plank bends and creaks below. You hear the captain erupt into laughter behind you and feel him step onto the plank, ready to cut you down if you don't jump. It's now or never.
Speech on. Vertical 0. Try to dodge his blow. Leap from the plank. Speech off.
You take one step forward and leap from the plank. The cold blue water comes rushing up at you, and you extend your hands to break the surface in front of you. You are suddenly enveloped in cold water. You open your eyes in the burning salt water and begin swimming away from the ship, staying beneath the surface, just in case. As you begin to run out of air, you realize you must soon surface.
Speech on. Vertical 0. Swim for the surface. Speech off.
You kick your feet hard and swim upward to the surface, and you gasp for air as your head breaks free of the water. You look in every direction to get your bearings. The pair of ships is behind you, and you can see the pirates already forcing another victim onto the plank. Ahead, too far to swim, you see the island. You have no good options.
Speech on. Vertical 0. Cast about for anything of use. Speech off.
You kick up in the water, trying to get high enough to see in the water around you. On your second attempt, you think you see some dark object disturbing the waves a short swim from here.
Speech on. Vertical 0. Swim for the ships. Swim for the island. Swim for the object. Speech off.
You kick off your water-heavy boots and begin swimming toward the object, praying that it is a large piece of driftwood, or even a capsized lifeboat. You pop your head above the surface occasionally to make sure you're swimming the right direction, and soon you arrive at the object. You swim up to it and put your hands on the slimy, smooth surface. It seems to be a closed, cylindrical tube cast from some dark metal, perhaps floating because it is hollow. The ends are rounded in half spheres, and there's enough slimy growth on it to suggest that it has been here for some time. You also see a single handle molded into the side. You've never seen a metal drum in this shape, but you have no time for questions, and you grasp the handle and heave your way to top it. It submerges beneath you, but your head is still above the surface, even as you heave up and down with the waves.
Speech on. Vertical 0. Inspect the object further. Swim for the island, using the object. Speech off.
After you catch your breath while straddling the strange object, you decide to keep moving. You dismount, take the object between your arms, and begin kicking in the direction of the island. Suddenly, a yellow light shines out from beneath the object. You seem to have somehow activated it. You see one end of the tube open to reveal a hole, and water begins gushing from it. You grasp the handle tightly, and the tube begins moving toward the island.
Speech on. Vertical 0. Hang on to the tube. Speech